Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. This is the roadmap webinar for the Fusion Data Intelligence, and we will have some updates in regards to the analytics community as well. So I'm going to stay on the safe harbor statements for a few seconds. So these webinars are hosted by the product strategy team. This is Farhi Javan Bhakti, and I'm a principal product manager with the product strategy team. Along with me today, we have Ben Arnold, our Senior Director of Product Strategy, Alex Tussman, and Jamie Anderson. I believe Jamie is not able to join us today. And we have panelists and presenters from the product management team. Stefan Schmitz, Group Vice President of the Product Management for the Fusion Data Intelligence, Ash Bajpai, Nupur Joshi, Naren Challa, Amit Goyal, and Dave Grenhall. So thank you to all the Oracle team for joining us today. And today's agenda, we have the introduction and updates with the product strategy team, myself, Ben, and also Stefan will provide some highlights for the Fusion Data Intelligence vision and the roadmap. Ash will cover the ERP Analytics and SCM Analytics roadmap and the future features. Nupur will cover the HCM Analytics. Naren will walk us through the CX Analytics roadmap. Amit will cover the administration and security roadmap. Dave will go through the user experience, and we will have a Q&A at the end. However, we have a packed agenda, so feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box throughout the session, and we will address those as we move forward. So I'm going to hand it over to Ben for his updates on the analytics community. Ben, over to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Farhi. Thanks first to all of you for joining. I saw some of you are in India, like Rajat, like Mayuresh, and it's a little bit late for you. So thank you so much for joining. So on the next slide, I wanted to speak to you about something which is very important. It's our Oracle Analytics community. We have more and more users using Oracle Analytics, Fusion Data Intelligence, and a lot of you are asking, where do I find help? Where can I ask questions? And so on. So during this webinar, you are going to be able to speak with our product team, but you have to know that the product team is also everywhere on our community website. So when you go on the forum, when you ask a question, this product team is going to answer to you. You have also some ACE that are experts in Oracle Analytics and Fusion Data Intelligence, which are replying also. And then other customers from Harvard, AT&T, the NASA, Vanguard, all the different customers using the same product as you are going here to participate to the community. So again, we are going to put the link in the chat. Be sure to join the community. The second thing I wanted to tell you is the product roadmap is not only built by product manager based on the feature they want, but it's also built based on the feature you want and your ideas. So inside the community website, you have what we call the ID lab. And this ID lab, you can go, you can submit a request for a feature. And believe it or not, but every month, all our product managers from the product management team are reviewing the ID lab during a specific council. And basically what they do is they review your ID. If the ID is interesting, they will ask for more vote for the ID. If they think it's something that we should implement right now, they will put it in the roadmap, and then they will ask development to develop it. So again, you can participate to the direction of the product. Every day we have new ideas. I think right now we have maybe 2,000 or 3,000 ideas in the ID lab. And I want to thank you for that. So stay tuned. We are redesigning the community website. At Cloud World, we will introduce the new version of the website. But please ask all your team to join this community website because it's where we centralize everything. You can find the product roadmap. You can find the presentation. The presentation of today will be there. You can speak to us. You can do everything in this website. So again, thank you very much. And back to you, Farhi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ben. Our next presenter is Stefan. Stefan, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Fari and Ben. Again, welcome everyone to this Fusion Data Intelligence Roadmap webinar. So Fusion Data Intelligence, also formerly known as Fusion Analytics Warehouse, has really come a long way and matured a lot since we launched it only a couple of years ago. I mean, if you look at the content coverage, which has grown significantly, but also the various capabilities for managing, extending the service have really matured a lot over the last couple of years. If you look at the product suite today, hundreds of subject areas, thousands of pre-built metrics, to get you started quickly. But we're not by any means done in this journey. We're continuing with our data and content expansion, to obviously cover new functional areas in the Fusion suite. We're also at the same time kind of going deeper in some areas for which we already had started to support subject areas and pre-built metrics. So that's a continuous journey. I'm not going to get into any details here on this slide. My team will do that right after me. But as you can see here, we have our hands full for the foreseeable future. Now, Fusion Data Intelligence is obviously more than just a rebranding of the Fusion Analytics Warehouse. If you followed, the Cloud World last year, we announced an expanded vision and scope of what this entire product offering can bring to bear for Oracle Cloud Application customers. One particular aspect of this, extended vision and scope are these intelligent apps. So the development of those apps is well underway, and we're going to share a lot more detail around that when we get to Cloud World coming up in September. In addition to that, we're also actively working, I should mention here, with our partner teams across, the Oracle industry vertical teams, to develop out similar type of offerings on the same platform and architecture, for utilities and under other industry vertical apps, which will really unlock very, very interesting use cases once you combine, let's say, Fusion finance data, marketing data with, utilities data and health data and so forth. But we'll share a lot more on that when Cloud World comes around. So just a quick overview in terms of what we're working on, and now we're going to get into a lot more details. So I'll hand it over to, I believe, Ash.
Thanks, Stefan. Sorry, can we go to the next slide? All right. For Fusion ERP Analytics, as you folks may know, we support finance, procurement, and projects. Those are kind of the key areas where we provide features and coverage. There are a lot of new features we have released with 24R2, which is the latest release and was shipped out a few weeks back. We do actually have a customer connect session that goes into the details for these features. But just to hit a couple of highlights here, under financials, we delivered critical enhancement for configurable account analysis, which is one of the most used features by our customers. These enhancements are around semantic model extensions. And in addition to that, we also are supporting about 40 plus DFFs. This includes GL journal DFFs, which was an ask from many customers. Under procurement, we've added accrual balances at period end and receipt subject areas. So this is supporting use cases in the receipt accounting space. So if you want to understand accruals by business unit or inventory org or item category, including quantities and amounts, that's something you will be able to do going forward. Under projects, we have added labor schedules and labor cost distributions as additional subject areas. As you folks may be aware, we have added a lot of subject areas in projects over the last 3-4 releases. This was an important ask for many customers in order to do detailed analysis of labor cost and allocation across different projects, right? So you'll be able to do that with 24R2. If you look at the upcoming bucket, that's more reflective of what's coming up in next couple of releases for the most part, barring maybe one or two exceptions, and I'll call those out. Accounting Hub, we launched Accounting Hub Analytics back in January of 2024. We continue to refine this offering. We do support GL and Subledger analysis today, but we are making some further refinements in our capability to go from GL summary level details to drill into the custom subledger transaction details with more robust support for with common dimensions. We do support redeploys for specific sources. So you can reload the data for specific sources without wiping out the data. But in order to persist the data in case of application or warehouse resets, so that's something that we are looking into. This may get pushed out. It's a complex design, but just remember, this is solving for an exception. We don't expect our customers to be doing resets in the first place. Then encumbrance, support for encumbrance for balances and journals in the general ledger subject areas. This is really important for higher ed and public sector customers in order to just keep an account of budget allocations and how you're consuming that through encumbrances. Entered currency, so for GL-based subject areas, GL balances subject areas, I should say, specifically GL balance sheet and GL profitability, we'll start supporting entered currency metrics. So if you want to look at actuals, budget, or encumbrance journals in entered currency, then you'll be able to do that besides analytics and ledger currency that we support today. On the GL balances subject areas, we are doing a bunch of performance improvements, and there's one specific to adding aggregates for non-qualifying segments. This is to avoid performance issues. Something we are looking into. This is, if we are not able to deliver in the next couple of releases, it might get pushed out, but it's something actively being worked on. On hierarchies, getting status of hierarchies as part of these subject areas, and then being able to search, drill based on code plus description values. So hierarchies are supported today, but we are going to actually give you better capabilities around hierarchies in future. That's something being worked on. Cross-subject area enhancements are happening across the board and specifically in payables. We are looking at some improvements there. Employee expenses is supported today based on data security driven at the business unit level. But for a more broad-based adoption of employee expense analytics, we are planning to add security based on manager hierarchy, right? So you'll be able to see the expense reports only for your org versus getting a BU level access. Then frequent data refresh. This has been a very popular feature for a lot of our customers. We do have work to do in terms of supporting configurable account analysis and FAH data with FDR. So that's something we are actively working on, and most likely this is going to land in R3. So it's coming soon. Now moving on to the procurement bucket and sustainability. I'll actually talk about that in the next slide. This is common with supply chain analytics as well. So I'll leave that for the next section. Under projects, like I mentioned previously, projects have been evolving fairly rapidly. We've added labor cost and labor distribution recently. Now the next thing that we are working on is project billing events. So that's likely going to make it by R4. Okay, now quickly looking at future bucket. It's a long list there, but I'll just call out a few items which we have started to look at. Budgetary controls and projects time and labor. Those features are available today in limited availability mode. But what we're working on is really testing that out with customers, making sure that it is performant, it is getting to a functional completeness before we actually put these features in preview mode. So if any one of you are interested in budgetary controls or projects time and labor, log a service request and we'll be happy to enable it for you. In addition to that, under financials, cash management is an area that we just started looking into. Um, RMCS is another area that we have started looking into. So we expect that sometime in 2025, we will be talking about putting that in some release buckets. Under procurement, sourcing is the area that we've been looking into. And on project side, project billing, BIP is something that we are working on. Okay, so that's on ERP Analytics. If you go to the next slide for supply chain. Okay, so for supply chain, just the refresher for everybody, we support order fulfillment, inventory costing, procurement related capabilities. And with 24R2, we have delivered a lot of enhancements. Just like ERP Analytics, we do have a customer connect session that we did a few weeks back. So we do have a recording of that available to you. So if you want to get into more details, you can listen into that recording. But just to call out a couple of key enhancements with 24R2, in picking and shipping subject area, we have added new metrics around shipping cost, which will give you visibility into your total cost. Then in procurement, we have added party dimensions to enterprise contract subject areas. The enterprise contract subject areas support only buy-side contracts, as you know. On sales order side, we have added support for draft sales orders. A lot of our customers told us that they have critical business processes around draft sales orders, and that's valuable for analytics. So we've added support for that for both sales orders and sales order hold subject areas. It's in preview, and we expect that we'll work with a few customers, test it out thoroughly, and then put it in GA. In the upcoming bucket, inventory receipts, this subject area provides information related to purchase orders, advance shipment notice, return orders, transfer orders, inter-order transfers. So receipts associated with a wide variety of inventory transactions. And we plan to take this to GA, most likely with R3 itself. Inventory aging and inventory turns, again, very popular set of capabilities. We are actually making some enhancements where we will add some configurability where you'll be able to create additional aging bands. So expect that to land sometime in R3. We are adding some pre-packaged analysis capabilities as well. So inventory aging, we will be providing a pre-packaged analysis where you can look at the age by item or catalog in the interest of improving your storage efficiencies, optimizing your inventory strategies, improving your inventory turns, so on and so forth. On the costing side, similarly, we'll provide pre-packaged analysis so that you can review your item cost holistically. We are also adding data validation support for inventory receipts. Now, moving to manufacturing and maintenance, work order costing. So when you talk about manufacturing work orders and manufacturing cost for work in process stuff or valuations for scrap, any resources that you have consumed, costing for that, all of that is going to be supported with work order costing. So it'll give you full visibility into what it costs for a specific manufacturing work orders. So you will have that available with work order costing subject areas. This is going to be a significant addition in 24R3, and it's going to work in combination with other manufacturing subject areas. The second bullet point the third one, maintenance work order. So we started with manufacturing work orders and a bunch of use cases around manufacturing. Now we are expanding into maintenance, and this will open up a completely new set of use cases. I'm super excited about that. We do have plans to provide maintenance resources, materials, and operation transactions. So, multiple subject areas which will support on maintenance side. Moving to procurement, part that I skipped in the ERP update, and this is again common between ERP and supply chain. Um, the receipt subject area, there are many customers who want to see the chart of account dimensions, chart of account segments, like national account. So we will be adding those details as part of PO receipt subject area. Then a lot of our customers want to look at the efficiency of the source to pay process, and a key part of that is looking at um, the purchase order process or the agreement process and seeing how many steps are there in the approvals and how long it's taking for each approval, right? Or as you're going through change orders, same thing, how long it's taking for change orders to come to fruition. So we'll be adding those capabilities here in purchase orders, agreements, and acquisition subject areas, something we're tracking for R4 at this point. Under logistics, so as you know, OTM and WMS connectors is something we've been working on. It is available in a limited availability mode. So we are baking that further, and we expect that it will be available as preview sometime in next 6 months. I would say OTM, we are much closer on that, and it might happen more like R3 timeframe. WMS is trending more towards R4 at this point. On sustainability, for everybody's benefit, we do have a new module that will be available within Fusion called Fusion Sustainability. And the analytics part of that, all that data is going to come to FTI, and the analytics part will be supported using FTI. This includes emissions, level 1, level 2, level 3, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions, and associated metrics around energy and water usage. All of that is going to be part of sustainability analytics. We will have more information available to you by the time we get to CloudWorld. Okay, future bucket, real quick. I'll hit on a couple of things we're working on. Stefan talked about our long-term roadmap. We unveiled a vision for a more ambitious FTI roadmap during CloudWorld last year. And part of that roadmap was intelligent applications. One of the use cases that we're working on is for supply chain command center. Our initial efforts are more focused in manufacturing on production attainment use case. So we expect that we will have some of these features available for our customers next year sometime. But if you are interested in learning more about that, we'll be happy to engage and get into more details. Under logistics, WMS, prepackaged analytics is something we have started looking at. This is in addition to the connectors that we support. And then I'll skip ahead to product lifecycle management. We are working on product hub analytics. That's something we plan to support sometime in 2025. All right, with that, I will stop and hand it over to the next presenter.
Thank you so much, Ash. Our next presenter is Nupur. Nupur, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fari. Thank you, Ash. Good morning, good evening, everybody. Very excited to share our latest innovations in the HCM Analytics, the release that has just gone out. So I'll quickly talk about that, what all we have delivered in the release that has just been released probably a couple of weeks back. The major enhancement that we have done is we have enhanced our payroll analytics with a major feature which would allow organizations to analyze payroll cost data using the segment hierarchy. So till now, you were able to do it using all the HCM only attributes like DFFs and everything. But now we have also exposed the segment hierarchies. So it's that you can slice and dice the information at that level as well. I would just want to emphasize one thing over here, that the segment hierarchies we have, like for all the payroll costing segments, we have exposed the segment hierarchies in the payroll costing subject area. But the payroll costing data that HCM that is available today is a pre-SLA data. So just want to emphasize on that. There are a bunch of new KPIs also that are added in payroll costing around pre-calculated net and net payable and net costing related KPIs are introduced. Several features have transitioned from preview to opt-in GA. How to enable those features, you'll be able to read through those details very clearly in our external documentation. Namely, these features are around diversity and bias detection, salary basis, time and labor. And HR help desk is a new feature which is released in preview, and it will reach GA in upcoming 2 or 3 releases at max. And there are some additional new out-of-the-box workbooks delivered on some existing features that were available, namely journeys and employee health and safety. In the upcoming bucket, the key feature that a couple of key features are already in progress, in works already. One of them is peer insights. This would enable leaders in the organizations, people leaders, managers in the organizations to gain insights into their peers' world. So how their peers' organizations performing vis-a-vis how they are performing with certain key KPIs will start the journey. And we intend to add more and more KPIs to this bucket as well. So this would help them drive productivity within their supervisory organization. And when every team performs to the best of their capability, this should ultimately be enhancing the organizational profitability as well. The next one is on the intelligent app, that is People Leader Workbench. That's an initiative that's a new initiative where we are beginning our journey with payroll spend intelligence. That would be one of the offering under a larger umbrella of workforce investment intelligence. There's been a consistent ask of multiple customers to support rolling 12-month headcount and certain in non-payroll subject areas, also the period ago KPIs. So that's also in works. A talent profile in the talent bucket, talent profile subject area is being enhanced with the profile history. So organizations, customers would be able to report on the historical trends on competencies and degrees and other nuances which are associated with the workforce talent profile. Payroll balances subject area is getting enhanced with total earning related KPI. So instead of just to sum up what is the approximate payroll expense on like summing up standard and supplemental irregular earnings, we are also adding this pre-calculated KPIs on total earning, period to date KPIs on total earning, so and so forth. And recruiting offering is also being enhanced with additional KPIs around job offers and related compensation. Now I'll quickly move to the future bucket. So there are multiple tons of things which are being worked upon or should sooner or later would be delivered in the product. In the People Leader Workbench, the future things that are being planned that are already being planned is the salary spend intelligence. So in case if you're a user or a people leader or a manager or maybe some HR business partner or any other user does not have access to the payroll details but need to be on top of the workforce expenses, workforce cost, then you have the salary spend details as well. Pay equities is also being worked upon. So there'll be a dedicated dedicated analysis on pay equity and the a kind of an AI-based app as well that would help you identify groups where there may be some pay inequality or existing. And payroll component analysis that would help you identify which component might be trending high and which you may want to take certain actions with. Peer insights would also be enhanced further with more and more KPIs. Like we will be introducing more configurable features in that, and then we'll add KPIs like from talent acquisition to performance to all other HCM offerings. And you can also override if you want to like peer group definition also you can override. Position budgeting is also a feature wherein across multiple pillars of HCM we will be combining data and giving you an insights on what is the overall budget assigned to a specific BU department combination and how has it been consumed across different offering, maybe in the requisition or existing people, and how where do you stand as of a specific point in time. Grow analytics would be offered. Scheduling analytics would be offered. Another under the HR core HR buckets, we will have benefits, employee flight risk prediction, and AI app. Bunch of workforce score enhancements. Position hierarchy dimensions would be delivered in out of the box in the subject areas. Talent acquisition has bunch of enhancements. Similarly, in the talent offering, learning is being planned to get GA soon. There are certain offering and offering hours related enhancements being worked upon that would be delivered sooner. Inferred skills could be fully automated inferred skill feature. Another AI-based feature would be delivered. Sentiments in performance review, another AI feature that's already in works would be delivered. Employee questionnaire, enhancements on succession planning. For payroll, one thing which would be delivered soon is the configurable reporting date. So whether you want to report on period end date or a process date, so you can identify. DFFs have in certain parts of payroll, the DFFs have already been delivered. We will also introduce enterprise calendar-based reporting capability and payroll, along with all the KPIs based on enterprise calendar. And the last one, I would conclude with the future feature, would be a configurable security based on area of responsibility. That is another future feature that would be delivered in the future releases. And with this, I would like to conclude my session. Over to you, Farid. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nupur. So we'll move to the CX Analytics, and Naren, over to you.
Great. Thanks a lot for it. Hello, everybody. I lead the product management team for CX Analytics. So if I leave you with one message for today, that will be CX Analytics, which will enable your revenue intelligence in your organization. By revenue intelligence, what we mean is ability to bring the entire data from your lead to cash cycle together in one place, so you can find opportunities to improve your revenue, cross-sell, upsell, renew, and so on and so forth. Now, how do we realize this? So today in our product, what we have is good coverage of the sales, marketing, and subscription data together. So I won't go into each of the detail, but you can assume from a sales perspective, bring all the relevant data in terms of opportunity, revenue lines, activities, and so on and so forth. And then we are constantly kind of updating that as well. If you have Eloqua or even CPQ, there is an application that will move data into Sales Cloud, Fusion Sales Cloud, and we can bring the quotes as well into the system and also marketing data. Specifically with Eloqua, we have actually built an API over a couple of years, and we are able to connect to Eloqua as a standalone system and bring all the campaign and campaign activities and form submissions and so on and so forth from Eloqua into our system. For using this feature, you don't need to have necessarily any Fusion product from Oracle. You can do a standalone provisioning offer system to connect to Eloqua, and then bring all the Eloqua data along with, say, Salesforce data or some other data you might have, or ERP data, right? Subscription is very exciting. It's a growth business for us. We have good coverage, and we are still enhancing, but you can think of all the existing the subscription lines. We also are able to do trending in this release that we have. We are enhancing the validation. So one of the key feature of FDI is that every data that we bring from the source system, we stand behind it. So for example, if you have $1 million opportunity in the Sales Cloud, we make sure that $1 million is reflected in our system. So we have a lot of validation features built into it. And we are also updating the Eloqua endpoints formats, small thing. Now, what is coming is super exciting. I think the last bullet is the most relevant. We are actually shipping native support for Salesforce, since a lot of our Fusion ERP customers they use Salesforce. So as a customer, if you have Salesforce, you can assume that our system will treat it as an Oracle system, right? So we have actually coming up in August 11 different subject areas around opportunity, revenue lines, activities, accounts, and so on and so forth. So it's a very exciting time for us to have that support into the product. And then since we have this descriptive analytics, we are getting into AI ML, as Stefan mentioned, as part of a roadmap. So forecasting process is a very natural extension for us. So we're currently testing the algorithms that you're building. So our goal is to create more dynamic forecasting. So that's upcoming. We are very close to shipping CPQ analytics. So you can bring quote and quote line. And this is also really exciting because now you can analyze all the quotes and try to figure out your discounting practices at your organization, which is a material impact on your business. And then we have embarked on a journey to actually help with the incentive comp as well, the expense part of the revenue ops, if I may, where we can look at all the plans that you have, the credits, and so on and so forth. So you can do standard reporting, but also try to figure out the right quotas and plans for your sales team. We are moving forward in the unified sales marketing kind of messaging, if I may. We are bringing a lot of things together so that you can treat marketing and sales as one system and try to figure out the influence of marketing on the sales system as well. We can also bring additionally, if you buy our ERP product, the bookings that are happening or orders in supply chain. So you can also combine margins, as Ash mentioned, or you can also look at the revenue that is realized in the ERP system. So fantastic kind of vision for Oracle. We are able to go from front office, mid office, and back office. Front office being sales, service, marketing, mid office being CPQ and subscription, and then back office being ERP and HCM as well. So in future, real quickly, we're gonna go double down more on the AI ML stuff, right? In terms of Salesforce, we're starting with sales, but there's a huge demand to bring CPQ, connect to Salesforce CPQ, marketing service. So we're gonna work on that. We are focus a lot on customer 360. So we are building new subject areas which will bring data from cross-pillar areas into one subject area. So you can think of an account or a customer. You can look at everything from open opportunities to open invoices and so on and so forth. We will go deep into CPQ. We're super excited about the pricing analytics and segmentation. So this is an area where we use AI ML to optimize pricing, and we're getting really good feedback from our customers in terms of changing having a material impact on the business. We will go a little bit more into service as well. So today we support Service Cloud. Excuse me. We plan to support the field service as well. So you can imagine bringing data from Service Cloud, field service, the supply chain, and then ERP as well in one place. So you can look at what we call an asset 360 as well in terms of how are the service metrics helping from a profitability perspective. In subscription, we are super excited. We acquired a few customers in the software world. So we are trying to create a notion of a cohort analysis. So you can create a cohort, for example, of customers that started at the same time and how are they behaving. Or you can create a cohort based on the business unit or the products and then analyze this cohort, right? So we are going deep into it, being able to create dashboards more around trying to create more analysis of the cohorts. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we are joining things together, CPQ plus subscription for SCM. So when you're coding, you have margins and cost data available to you, so you can help with the right pricing. And finally, we are able to look at this holistic data that we have and help you with churn prediction. So then retention use cases come into play. And then furthermore, we will support Unity and products like Right Now and responses in future as well. So with that, Fari, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Naren. Next presenter is Amit. Amit, please take it away.
Yeah, thank you. So I am the product management lead for platform and infra, as in backend platform and infrastructure. So I'll cover the backend portion of the slide, and then the experience will be covered by my colleague, Dave Granholm. So when it comes to our region support, we continue to roll out the product in different regions. So we are already in Tokyo. We have rolled out Osaka now. We are already in Mumbai. We'll roll out Hyderabad next. Like in Europe, we are already in London, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, and we'll roll out Montreal and Zurich in the future. When it comes to government cloud, we are in UK Gov London, and we rolled out UK Gov Cardiff as well. We'll be supporting the European Union sovereign cloud soon. In fact, we're trying to get to that by the end of this year. When it comes to US Gov, that will take time. There's a big compliance need for that. So we anticipate first half of 2026 for it to be publicly available. Then there is something called dedicated clouds. So we are capable of deploying to dedicated regions, which is more of a private cloud used by governments and certain big companies. And we're already rolling out our first customer soon. When it comes to provisioning, we have certified the product for bring your own key, which is customer encryption keys. Many times banks and others want to use their own encryption key for the data. There other kind of news on the provisioning front. We'll support multiple subscriptions in a single tenancy. We are working towards, for new customers, not having the UCC prerequisite. So customers can actually activate FDI without purchasing UCC. But once they need to scale up or pay as you go, then they have to purchase the UCC. Also, the underlying database, ADW, has converted from OCPUs to eCPUs, which is a better pricing metric for customers. And we'll be launching that around September. We'll be converting the fleet to eCPUs around September. In the future, on the provisioning front, we wish to enable access to real-time fusion reporting, which is essentially being able to do data visualization on OTBI subject areas. And we want to support multiple languages, for instance, and disaster recovery. Both of those will take some time. On the extensibility front, there is a lot of enhancements to the semantic model extensibility, specifically when it comes to performance. There were complaints around performance of the semantic model extensibility feature that is significantly enhanced now. There are a couple of features in limited availability. So please, if you have customers around that, reach out and we can enable that for testing. That's bulk data augmentation and DBT integration. So bulk data augmentation is about being able to bring multiple tables in one shot from a source, as opposed to one by one. DBT integration is, there's open source DBT project, which people use for post-processing. So if you want to do complex transformations, once the data lands in ADW, you can call out to your DBT jobs. Going across for extensibility upcoming, we intend to do a data share feature. So it'll be called data share, where you can actually take the data that we publish to ADW, for example. You could publish it to Oracle Storage Service, Azure, Google Cloud. There are licensing implications, of course. You have to have licensed by employees in order to use that data outside of FDI. But we are going to provide that feature. And then in the future, we're going to support other sources as well, other targets, not sources, for that. When it comes to extensibility around AI ML, we have the pre-built ML use cases, things like predictions, invoice, risk predictions, and so forth. So we'll allow people to add their own data attributes into that. So that's the extensibility there. For intelligent apps that you heard about, the extensibility is around how can you change the UI that comes out of the box if you want to add your own elements you can do that. And then in the future column, you will see Pipeline Builder. So Pipeline Builder is essentially a way for us to give partners ID environment or a programming mechanism to build their own custom pipelines and integrate within our ecosystem. All right, I'll hand it over to Dave to cover the experience. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Amit. Hi, everybody. Can you go back one, please, Fari? Amit and I are sharing a slide. So while the experience is part and parcel of everything that we've talked about, or most things that we've talked about today, there are a few projects that warrant specific mention. And first off, the app shell deprecation, although not in 24R2, happened in 24R1, and that sets the stage for really the next generation of the work that we're talking about here from an experiential standpoint. So that's the old world, that's over. As far as other sort of notable updates that are currently present, we've added some enhancements to the bundles. Again, kind of a project that merges between platform and experience, but added some experiences around key metrics, data sets, and user folders being incorporated into the bundles. Thank you. In the upcoming column, we've all talked a bit about the intelligent applications. On the experiential side, and I'll just sort of revisit this, these intelligent apps, regardless of the content pillar within which we're serving up that content, really are a new extension to our traditional approaches where we're testing and probing the system for various conditions, either positive or negative. We've built into that a what if engine, which incorporates sort of classic what if as well as ML and AI to identify what next could be done, and then provide an experience where the user and the customer can go and take action based upon those insights. So we heard from Nupur about the People Leader Workbench, and from Ash and the Supply Chain Command Center. You know, we've worked on these specifically from sort of some new metaphors on the UX standpoint, and we'll be talking more about that at Cloud World. Now, a couple of questions came up in the QA about a Content Explorer and representing the bulk of the content that exists both in the factory content and in customer content based upon our extensibility tools. And so there's a Content Explorer built by the product strategy team, which is out there, should be publicly available, and I'll make sure that's the case. And then we're building into the product a Content Explorer that you can launch right from the catalog, which will show the factory content as well as any custom content that you've built in real time. So that'll be interesting to show the presence of that content as well as the lineage of that content. And then looking ahead to the future, Amit talked about this real-time reporting. We're making sure that this is a very facile experience in which we can, within our modern tooling, access both our analytical subject areas as well as OTBI ones, those transactional information that comes directly from Fusion, not through the pipeline or not modified. As we're looking ahead to the future, we'll be pushing out an ability, both from the factory standpoint and from the customer standpoint, to push out personalized homepages that can collect just the content that you want to present and hide some of the complexity. And then similarly, we're looking at a number of new tools now that we're all running on this common platform to really show the beauty and the power of the platform and build some beautiful factory content, application content that incorporates infographics and other sort of interactive metaphors that we'll be describing so that you can uptake all these features as well. Naren talked about, on the CX side, the forthcoming intelligent app, which we aren't building quite yet, but on the cusp of, around dynamic revenue forecasting. And then, of course, to complement the incredible capabilities on the back end around ML and AR that come from OAC or ADW or OCI as positioned as a data lake, we're also refining some customer-centric AI-driven capabilities. So the business user can start to use these capabilities to identify patterns and new content. And even an assistant, which is sort of a chatbot-esque assistant, is starting to hit the market. And then finally, integration of our FDI content with Fusion is central to our strategy. And so you'll be seeing more ways that we can integrate both sort of current capabilities as well as provide a more seamless integrated application across classic Fusion UX and FDI content and capabilities. All of this really is around the central notion of providing a unified, a coherent application, a beautiful application, world-class application across all of these capabilities that feels like a single application, all in the one same family, and bring that to you all. So that's on the experience side. I think we've actually moved through our content relatively expeditiously. So I'll hand it back to you, Fari, and we might even have a few minutes for questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dave. It seems that we have a new question, and I can read that out loud. Can you have any notes or Confluence related to GSE demo assets and resources?
I can talk to that. I think, sure. There's a number of assets which are present in the demo services. I think that's what you're referring to with the GSC, the Global Sales Engineering. Likely you're looking for pointers to the FDI specific content. If anybody wants to reach out to me, I can certainly provide those references. There's some really good content there. And actually, the demo services team is sort of an internal question, but they've done a great job of staying up to date with all of the most recent updates on the product side, and in some cases even being a bit ahead of what gets out there. So they're really showing the cutting edge experience for the product. So, sort of internal question. Reach out to me if you'd like to get those references.
Perfect. So we have a few more minutes waiting. If there are any other questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A box. We're also running a poll, so if you haven't responded to that, please let us know how you would rate these sessions. This helps us with planning our upcoming sessions. And I also put some of the links that we discussed at the beginning of this session in the chat, so feel free to check out the community websites and also the Idea Lab. If you have any ideas in regards to new features, new capabilities that you would like to see in the product, please leverage the Idea Lab. We will look at that platform frequently and also encourage your users and your colleagues to upvote on the ideas.
And one thing that I want to add, and maybe Fari, you can put your email in the chat. It's the first time we are running this webinar for the product roadmap. I see we have some very good and positive results in the poll, but if you have any expectation about this webinar in the future, we are going to run that every quarter. If you want to see something different, if you have some ideas or some improvements, please send it to Fari. We will include that in the next session, and we will be sure that it's matching your expectation.
Definitely. All right, I don't see any other new questions, so I believe that's a wrap for this session. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Thank you to the Oracle team for presenting and joining us. Have a great day, everyone.